It is Thursday, October 6, 2011, the eve of our D-Day operation against the true enemy of our republic, the private, run-for-profit Federal Reserve. Coming up in the second part of tonight's news transmission, Danny Panzella, who's been really exposing the Federal Reserve crime syndicate, will be joining us. And, of course, tomorrow, Aaron Dykes will be sitting in, but we'll have reports from the ground in Dallas as we launch Operation Occupy the Federal Reserve. That is all coming up. Now, we understand, and it's now admitted, that Obama, MoveOn.org, George Soros are all saying they feel the pain of Occupy Wall Street. They feel the pain of the American people. In fact, Obama gave a speech today, and he claims the government has not gone after the banksters because, quote, a lot of practices going on weren't against the law. Why is that, Obama? Well, the private Federal Reserve that packed the Clinton White House and then the George Walker Bush White House got rid of Glass-Steagall in 1999 and made things that were illegal, legal. But just because a bunch of crooks got together and made, say, child kidnapping legal or human sacrifice legal or dogfighting legal, for that matter, doesn't mean it should be legal. You know, they made it legal that blacks weren't human and were slaves in this country. Does that really make it legal? No. Common sense, common law, basic human dignity says that even if the Nazis say it's their right to line people up and shoot them in the head, it's illegal because free humanity says so, criminal. I'm sick of it. And now they've sent out their corporate whore media to go interview certain people at Occupy Wall Street groups to make it look like they're all a bunch of collectivist socialists who want to tax what's left of the middle class and transfer it offshore, and all these billionaires like Warren Buffett and Bill Gates promoting raising taxes on rich people. Then you find out it's $125,000 individually, $250,000 collectively with you and your wife. Those are the upper middle class people financing what's left of this economy, this service economy. Globalists like Obama and his controllers already deindustrialized this nation. All we've got left is service. But I digress, my friends. This is teleprompter-free news, so you get real analysis. Amazing story by Steve Watson and Paul Watson at Infowars.com. Wall Street puppet Obama sympathizes with anti-Wall Street protests when he's totally and completely bankrupting this country by design to bring us to our knees to these globalists. In fact, don't we have an article showing that he got double the campaign contributions from Wall Street? He actually got 5 times from Goldman Sachs. If you pull up the numbers, Obama is the all-time king daddy of getting Wall Street money. And that was from before the campaign finished. By the end, Wall Street had really doubled down on him. Now, I want to continue to look at what's happening here. I remember 3.5 years ago when not 800 plus billion was given to the offshore multinational Federal Reserve member banks, but if you count it all up now, we've learned 16.6 trillion with an additional 11 trillion. So you're getting up close to 28 trillion or more. And that's now all admitted now. They tried to keep it secret for years, and they would sit there and tell Congress, the private Federal Reserve, sorry, we're not going to tell you where the trillions went. But finally, it became so embarrassing they had to admit it. Billions of it went to people like MSNBC to sit up there and demonize people like myself and Ron Paul, who think it's wrong to have a private group of corporations who are able to issue themselves unlimited money. Does that sound like a level playing field, or does it sound like it's completely slanted? That's what's happening. And now that things are falling apart, they're coming in saying, give us socialism, and that'll fix the problems. They just want to socialize the grassroots wealth so nobody can challenge them. Now, people all week have said, Alex, comment on Bank of America. Well, I did years ago. Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan Chase, all the big mega banks, Citigroup, they all announced back in 2008 when they got the trillions of dollars of taxpayer money that they were going to cut back on retail banking, that they were going to get rid of the bank that gives you an auto loan or a house loan. They were going to cut that way down and get rid of tellers. And they laid off earlier this year 30,000 workers. Then they laid off another 40,000 workers. If you add it all together, Bank of America alone has laid off about 90,000 workers in the last few years. And most of that has been in 2011 alone. And what have they laid off? Well, here's a Reuters article. Bank of America cuts foretell downturn in branch banking. Yeah, see, previous to the end of Glass-Steagall that Clinton and the Republicans got rid of in 1999, like Obama said, well, it's not illegal. Yeah, because you changed the law. Previous to that, banks were allowed to loan out $10. Some banks in Europe, it was a little bit different. $8 for every $1 if you want to use dollar increments, $9 for every dollar, $10 for every dollar. It's fluctuated slightly, but that's called fractional reserve banking. But in 99, now 11, 12 years ago, they said, we'll just completely decouple from that and allow the big mega banks, but only the big mega banks. Anybody else did it, they were shut down by regulators, the Securities and Exchange Commission. This is the rest of the story, the inside baseball. Anybody that didn't go along with their official plan basically got shut down. And so instead of just loaning out 10 to 1, 9 to 1, whatever the case was, they could loan out unlimited trillions off of nothing. And so now they've got all these trillions, not just in the derivatives they created out of fraud in the Ponzi scheme, but also the bailout for the Ponzi scheme. But why actually bail out the Ponzi scheme when you can keep the scam going and keep people desperate? So now Bank of America and all these other big banks are saying in Europe, and now they're talking about it here in the U.S., that they may charge you to keep money. Instead of you getting paid interest because they're loaning your money out and multiplying it, now they want to charge you to hold money. And they're saying the bank fees are all going to go up, not just Bank of America. They were the first to do it because they don't care. $5 every time you use your debit card or every time you withdraw money when it's your money that they're using in the bank. Why is that? Because they're flush with the $20+ trillion in their coffers and don't need your money anymore. They already got your money that you've got to pay back in taxes. Oh, yeah, all of those bailouts, all of those trillions, you don't just pay when it devalues your currency through hyperinflation. They also want you to pay it back because that's a taxpayer bailout. You're getting screwed to bail them out and give them your money. You pay to be raped by them. That's like paying a robber to come rape your wife and knock your teeth out and then shoot your kids in the head. Only in America could frauds of this galactic level magnitude go on. So that's why Bank of America is laying off its service sector jobs. They don't need to service you. The globalists already got rid of our industry. And now they're getting rid of the service jobs because they're going to lower us down to North Korean level or Venezuelan level. The globalists are waging war against our economy. Okay, I'm done ranting about that. Next, I want to get to one of the most important stories of the evening. Coming up are the green globalists, the green collectivists. You remember a few weeks ago, we covered the fact that all over California, they're lying and saying there's a new law that you must take all the list of vaccines. Of course, we pointed this out, so the local news had to later admit, okay, it's not a law, it's a policy. Please sign our waiver. And then when they don't let your kids into school because they won't take the shots, then they sick the police on you for truancy, which they triggered by kicking your kids out. Let's go ahead and go to this clip.
Hello, how are you, ma'am? Hi. My name's Heyman Matlock. I'm with the Thomas Unified School District.
It's not easy going door to door, making sure students are vaccinated.
Your daughter is on independent study.
Yes.
Kayla, has she been verified with her TDAP?
No.
Okay. We were coming today to give her a TDAP if she hasn't had it done yet.
Get the off my house.
Now, again, if you're a new viewer, because even when I watch national shows on CNN, the people against forced inoculation still say, it's wrong, it's the law. My daughter's got to take this Gardasil because Rick Perry says so. There was never a law. Perry's had to admit that now. I went and checked it 4 years ago when he did it. There was no law. He just said, oh, it's our policy, and then they have the schools lie and say it's the law. And we were sent by a listener. Here's their letter right here, but I'm not going to show you their name. And it says the schools in Fremont Unified School District passed these out today. Kids can't be expelled from school unless there is an active outbreak, and there is not one. No mention of waiver in this letter. And when you read the letter, that's on the news, they're doing this. It says it's the law, and I'll show you a document cam shot of this, and basically you'll be kicked out of school if you don't take the shots. And it goes on then to basically say, you know, then it'll trigger truancy laws, and the police will come after you. So this is the type of criminal garbage that schools across the country engage in, and that's Fremont Unified School District that just sent this letter out. One of our listeners sent us a copy of it, and we got it in the mail. And you can see the Department of Education document number for SoCo, Southern California, right there. This is what your government thinks of you. Absolute, complete, and total abject fraud. And you heard that girl was on home study. I've seen it in the California news. Tens of thousands of parents aren't doing homeschooling. The school tricks them when they withdraw their kids because they want federal money. They'll call up and say, all right, just fill out this paperwork for home study. It's the law. Another hoax. You can homeschool anytime. They trick you to stay with them, send your kid in once a month for testing, and do home study. So here's the mother in the newscast, pulls her child because they're saying she can't be in school if she doesn't take all these deadly shots. The mother says, okay, I'll homeschool them. And the school tricks again and says, okay, fill out these forms. You're on home study, so they get the federal money. It's fraud within fraud, hoax within hoax, lie within lie, scam within scam, bamboozling fraudsters engaged in hokum and bunk and cockamamie skullduggery ad nauseum against you and your family. How many scams will you accept? Is a sucker born every minute? And again, I'm not even against the technology of vaccination, though it shows even when it's real, it creates autoimmune problems and lowers immunity. The point is, these big vaccine companies have been caught adding cancer, viruses, you name it, and the damn Gardasil shot doesn't even protect girls from cancer. My wife this morning was going through magazines, and she ripped it out of a woman's magazine and said, look, they admit it causes all these problems and epilepsy and seizures and narcolepsy, and you got to show this on air. And I said, hon, I have. She goes, but it says it doesn't protect you from this form of cancer. It says it on the you know, they got the happy ad saying shoot boys up with it now. That was the point. I should have brought it in. Now they're saying boys should take it for cervical cancer and all this other stuff because they got cervixes, I guess. And then you flip it over, and it's just got a huge page of fine print of what it does to you. It doesn't even protect you. I mean, it's just the level of fraud makes my head spin. Now, we got Luke Radowski of We Are Change being beat up by the cops, being slammed to the ground for being part of Occupy Wall Street. That's coming up as we go to break and come back with our guest, who's also in Manhattan covering all this. But I want to go now to South by Southwest Eco Guide. South by Southwest is run by the Austin Chronicle, who have written fiction articles attacking me for 15 years. And I always wondered why they did such horrible things to me. It's because they're globalist. And they support anti-gun, anti-freedom, anti-family, Planned Parenthood, eugenics. I mean, it is a truly nasty organization. And, of course, they would put on, and again, here it is, South by Southwest Eco Guide and Eco Conference. And, you know, I told the guys, I said, I want you to go down to that. Tomorrow night, they're going to show you the Occupy Wall Street thing that happened today. They just got back from that. That was amazing. Complete with the Austin police chief running over saying, why is Alex calling me a communist? That's coming up tomorrow night. Art Acevedo, what a piece of work. By the way, Art, we've been calling you to get you on for a while, so don't say that we're scared to have you on. Your office must not be letting you know we called. So you're welcome here next week. In fact, in here at this table, Art. But that's a side issue. We got a bunch of clips from this, and we couldn't go there today when Jacques Cousteau's son was speaking because we had to be at the Occupy Austin event. But we were going to ask Jacques Cousteau about his dad saying it's horrible to say 375,000 people have to be killed a day for the environment, but it's even more awful to say we shouldn't kill 300,000+ people a day. And those quotes are public, along with Prince Philip and others. But I sent the guys down there, and they got their little pass. And then as soon as the other operators of it saw the InfoWars credentials, they started freaking out on them. And